right, guys, I have that it is 6 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and get started because I want to be respectful of your time. So, if you have any questions, in most instances, just go ahead and ask me your question. Or if you want, you can post questions and items here in this chat box. If you everyone see on GoToMeeting, you should see attendees list, and there's a little drop down for chat box. You can go ahead and click the chat box. Let me show you what I'm talking about. You may not see all of this because I'm the moderator, but there is, if you take a look here, you should see chat on your on the GoToMeeting. And if you just want to mute yourselves, I'd like to think that you have the same little icons. You can just go ahead and just mute yourselves if you want to do that. All right, so I'm going to get started. I'm Melinda Livas, the Distance Services Librarian here at CGO Kelly Library, and I wanted to reach out to the CLS group this semester just to give you a presentation on how to use some of the resources that we have and to just show you some collaborative tools to help you with your group and research projects. So first, I'm actually going to go to Google, because I know this is probably where you go to do a lot of your research. You start here in Google, which is perfectly fine because it's good to start in Google, and then once you're done with Google and you get your key searching words, you take that and then you come to the databases because as students, you guys spend a lot of money on those databases. They're expensive, so I want you to use them, and I'm going to show you some databases that hopefully you've been using and maybe a couple you haven't been using because you didn't know we have them, but I'm going to show you all of that. But like I said, first I'm going to go to Google. I know you go to Google to do your research, but I'm going to show you a couple of things in Google. One, we're going to take a look at Google's advanced search. Then we're going to take a look at Google Scholar, and then I'm going to show you a Google Drive. And I hope several of you have a Gmail account or a Google account, because I'm going to get you to participate in a project with me so you can see how Google Drive works in real time. So first, let's go to Google's advanced search. So I'm going to type in Google's advanced search. Normally, Google changed their interface. Sometimes they would have Google Advanced Search on the main page, but if they don't, just type it in. All right, and then this is what Google Advanced Search look like. And the reason why I'm partial to Google, I love this, because you put in your keywords here, and you tell it what site or domain you want to search. Meaning, you tell it, do you want to focus all your retrievals from .edu, .org, or .gov? Now, for CLS students, I highly recommend that you look at .edu, of course, as education, and .gov. Sometimes when you get information from .com, .org, and .net, .com, business, org, organizations, net, organizations as well, sometimes that information and data is not unbiased. And you, as a researcher, want to make sure you're delivering clear, unbiased data. All right, so I'm going to need your help here. What is a hot topic that you all are doing research on? Or what's a hot topic relating to CLS right now? So if you want, you could type it, or tell me, or type it in your chat box, whatever works for you. So what's a hot topic?
You logging all that waste are super fast. No, that's right. You just taught me experience.
Or someone type it in the chat box for me. What is a hot topic for CLS? Because I am not sure. Okay. Or type it in the chat box. Okay, thank you, Jen. Let's see. Phlebotomy. Okay, injuries. This is a good one. All right. Phlebotomy injuries. Okay. All right, so this is going to be our theme. phlebotomy injuries. I never thought about that. I'm not a nurse by profession, so I'm always learning a ton of stuff from the health sciences, social sciences group all the time. All right, so we're going to focus on phlebotomy injuries. For the sake of this search, let's take a look at .gov. Let's see what kind of data that the government has shared pertaining to phlebotomy injuries and see what type of research they've shared. And if you come down here, you can also tell Google what type of format you want to get your retrievals in. So for the first search, let's do PDF. I'm going to do an advanced search, and let's see if we get anything that lends itself to what our topic is. So let's take a look at this one. All right, so you download your PDF. And then, okay, safety needles and phlebotomy. This is a spreadsheet. And let's see, it has some interesting information on there. It looks Greek to me, but I'm sure this looks very familiar to you because you all are in this field. So this is pretty interesting. So let's actually close out of that and let's see what else we have. Okay, so let's take a look at, no, I don't want that to come on. I hate when Google does that. So let's take that off. All right, so let's come back. I saw another one that I thought was interesting. Let's take a look at, I saw one that I thought really looked interesting. Let's try this one. Okay, Sharps Injuries Hospitals. And I know we were looking specifically for phlebotomy, so I'm just going to do a Control F here. And I'm the worst speller in the world. So let's see. All right. So this is how I can tell if we have anything about phlebotomy injury. Phlebotomy, we have hit there. And so they're in the references. All right. So we do have some information. So this is a smart way to me to search Google. That's one smart way. Let's go back and let's take a look at, let's change to .edu. And let's change our retrievals to PDF, to PowerPoint. I want to see what researcher from the education world has actually shared their research about phlebotomy injuries and shared it. All right, so let's take a look at this. So this is a PowerPoint, even the first one. So I'm going to open this and let's see what we get. So like I said, this is to me a smart way to search Google instead of just randomly search Google. You put in your search, you tell Google what you want, .gov, .edu, .net, or whatever. And then, so this is the PowerPoint that popped up. And then you can get some good information about what you are looking for. And this information, of course, is shared by researchers globally because they've uploaded it to Google, which is really nice. So that's one way. Now let me show you. Now we're going to take a look at Google Scholar. And I'm sure, have any of you heard of or used Google Scholar? And like I said, you could type in the chat box because I'm going to be, okay, so, okay, good. So some of you have been using Google Scholar. Google Scholar is awesome, as you know, because Google Scholar is Google's version of peer-reviewed content that they have been vetted to meet academic standards. So you go to google.com and then you just type in Google Scholar. And I'm going to hit Google Scholar, and we're going to stick with the same theme, phlebotomy injuries. All right, now one of the nice things I do like about Google Scholar, of course, I would like to think that you can only go back, 5 years for your research, right? So I'm just going to hit 2011 because I want the content to be from 2011. Now, one nice thing about Google Scholar is that it picks up your IPO address. So since I'm on campus, as you can see, it's picking up from search for full text at WSSU. If you were to try this at home, you would probably just get the links directly from either the journals or open source researchers like ResearchGate. And you see how this one, it gives me both. Because I'm on WSSU's campus, it's giving me both. But then if we don't have the full text, it links you directly to that vendor. So let's take a look at this one. Perception regarding needle, stick, and sharp injuries among clinical year medical students. God, that's a life-full. I mean, that's a mouthful right there. Another thing before I click on this link, I love the fact that Google does tell you how many times an article has been cited. This could be useful information. However, if you come across an article that hasn't been cited a whole lot, that does not mean it's not a well-written article, because for these articles to get published, the content and the data and the research has to be spot on or would have not gotten published. However, if it has a low number like this one's only been cited 3 times, well, look, it was just published in 2014, and maybe a lot of researchers just haven't had the chance to read it and write a comment about it. So let's take a look at this one. So I'm going to come here. I want to download it. So as you see, I clicked on it and it downloaded here. So I'm going to show you a shortcut whenever you find a PDF, a shortcut way to save that document to your desktop or to your laptop. And I like to think this, I know for those of you who may be using a Mac, I know when you click downloads, it goes to another part. But for those who are using a PC, when you download it like I did, and let me show you what I did here. I'm going to close out of that. I'm going to come here. I want this article. So I'm going to go PDF from here. And I want the PDF to load, and it loaded again. So I'm going to open it. So I like this article, right? But I want to look at it later. I don't want to look at it now. I'm going to come here. So you just scroll around the bottom until you get this blue menu. And I want to save this article. So I'm going to hit save. So whatever will populate, I'm going to save it to my desktop. So I'm going to hit desktop. I'm going to click in the file name because I want to change the name to not this parameter, but to what the name of the article is. So I'm going to make it perception, and I'm going to hit enter. So now you see I have it saved on the desktop to enter. Now let me go to the desktop. Let's see if I can find it. I need to clean my desktop, as you can see. I have so much crap on my desktop, but unfortunately, this is the only way I know how to work. So as researchers, start thinking about saving your content in one place. So I'm going to just make a quick folder, and I'm going to call this CLS folder, right? So now let me see if I can find the article. Here it is, perception. So I'm just going to grab it, drag it to the folder. So every time I find an article that I am interested in, where's my stuff? Every time I find an article that I am interested in, I can be smart about it, save it, and put it in one place. So I just saved that article to the folder, and I know it's in there, so all I have to do is double click on it. And as you can see, here's the article I just saved. So that's kind of like a shortcut way. If you come across any PDF, go ahead and just save it to your desktop, and that way you'll always have it. All right, so let me move on to, so any questions about that? Now that's in Google Scholar. And like I said, Google Scholar is a really good tool to use. Thank you, Jen, I found it. So it's a good tool to use. So make sure you search smart and not hard. So remember Google Scholar and then Google's advanced search. So remember to use those. So now let me show you a tool. How many of you have ever tried Google Drive or Google Docs? How many of you have ever used anything dealing with Google Docs? I'm just looking in the chat box to see. Okay, so I don't see. Okay, so Sonia says she tried it. All right. So one of the nice things I love about Google Drive, when you have to work on group projects, okay, no problem. So it was a while ago. Well, when you have to work on group projects, I want you to start thinking strategically about how you can save time and produce a really good quality of work. So I'm going to go to Google Drive here. And let me see if I'm already logged in. I'm already logged in. So I'm just going to go to Google Drive. And if you select this little grid here, this is the Google application. So this is where you can get all the Google applications. So I'm going to go to Google Drive. And Google Drive, as you can see, I have quite a bit of content in it because I kind of use it. I use it a lot. So let's take a look at this part. This Google Drive is very intuitive and very easy to use. Google Docs means paper. Google Sheets is Google's version of Excel spreadsheet, and Google Slides is Google's version of PowerPoint. So let's say we have to create a PowerPoint presentation or a presentation about phlebotomy injuries, right? So we'll stick with the current theme. So I'm going to scroll down, find a template that I like, and I always like to go with templates that are, not too flashy and hard on the eye. So we, as a group, have decided to use this template. And now I'm just in Google Docs. Anything in Google works just like Google. It works just like Microsoft Office. So I'm going to add more slides. And I'm going to do a new slide, do a new slide, do a new slide. All right, so I've added my slides. And actually, I don't want to do slides. I want to do something else. But I wanted you to see what the slide template looks like. So if you ever decided to do a group presentation and you had to do a group presentation, Google Slides is awesome. But I think I want to let's take a look at Google Docs because we could really visually see how it works. All right, so I'm going to change my topic here, untitled. This is going to be CLS Group Project 5. And hit enter. You see it automatically saves. So as I stated earlier, I don't like to type. I'm always trying to do the shortcut way of typing. So I'm just going to take some content and I just want to put some content here. All right, so I've added some content. So let me show you how this works. Of course, it works just like Word. So I need to change this. Now, as I am working, take a look at this as I'm working. So I'm going to change some content. I want to make it Times New Roman 12 point because that's what we're always doing. One of the cool things I love about Google Drive is that it saves your content in real time when you're working on it. So think about using Google Drive as a backup. So if something were to happen to a flash drive that you save all your content on, or even if you had to replace a laptop or something, God forbid, the good thing about Google Drive is that it saves everything in the cloud. So you can't lose it unless you forgot your password. So don't forget your password. All right, so this is the group project. I'm going to have my name on it and just have everybody's name who's on the group. All right, and I think that I get it. So everybody is responsible now for their content. So now I need to share with you guys this paper so you can start adding your content. So I'm going to come over to share. And you see before I hit that, of course, as you see, it's private to me because I haven't shared it with anyone. So I'm going to share it with you guys. You can do it two ways. I think when you get a shareable link and you email the link to everyone, to me this is the most effective. Now you could come here and take everybody's email address and put it here, and then whatever you do, make sure you select the can edit button so they can make additions. But to me, this is the long way. Select get the shareable link. Make sure they can edit. So I want the shareable link and I want to make sure that you guys can edit it. So I'm going to take this link, I'm going to cut and paste, I'm going to put it in the chat box. Now what I would like for you to do for those who have your Google account, select that link, sign into your Google account, and then we're going to make edits in real time. So go ahead and type your name anywhere on the document and start making edits. And while you are doing that, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to start making edits. So then you see how everything works in real time. All right, so I'm going to come all the way down here. So I see you here. So guys, go ahead once you get in and start making your edits. And I'm going to type down here. I'm going to come up here. So you see how that works? So we are all typing in the paper at the same time. I'm adding my part. Everybody else is adding their part. This is a cool. So what if you don't have it? Okay. Well, it's easy. It's easier if you do have a Google account. I don't think it works. It works without having one, but it's so much more easier. Oh, yes. Well, Andrea, yeah, yeah, we did. Andrea, let's get your name on there. Yep. It's easier if you have a Gmail account. So you see how this works, how cool this is. So everybody can add their edits into a document. And so you can add your edits into a document. And then when you are done, the person, let's say who's the manager or project manager, they can say, okay, well, guys, no more edits. We have a final paper. Take that paper if you want, put it in Microsoft Word, do a spell check, and you're good to go. So I always recommend using Google Drive because this is a cool tool to use. So now let's say, and you see how people are editing, and you can see it in real time, and it's saving everything. So I wanted to show this, so I thank you. Thank you for so much for participating. So Stephanie, everybody's adding some content. Thank you for participating because, like I said, this is a cool tool to use when you have to work on group projects. Remember, work smart and hard, but really work smarter. All right, so any questions, guys, about what we looked at in Google? We did Google Scholar, Google Advanced Search, and we did Google Drive Collaboration. So any questions? And you can type it in the chat box. So I don't see any questions. So now I'm going to close out of this. So now let's say you have a PowerPoint template, right? All right, so I'm going to close out of this. Let's say you have a PowerPoint template and you want to upload that PowerPoint to Google because you've already started it outside of Google Drive. So what you do, so I'm going to close out of this. I'm going to go here. So all you have to do is come to Upload Files on Google Drive, Upload Files, and then wherever you have files, let's see if I can find a PowerPoint somewhere or find a document. So let's say I wanted to upload this PDF, right? So you hit here, hit Open. You see how it's going to upload here to let you know when it's done. Upload completed. And now I need to find it. So Livas, and here it is. It's that simple, right? So this is how you upload docs. And it works the same. It works the same as PowerPoint, a video, anything. So it's easy to upload stuff in Google Drive. All right, so continue to, think about using Google Drive when you have to work on those projects. So I did want to show you that. So guys, thank you for participating in my little project there. All right, so I'm going to close out of this. So now we're going to get to the databases. I would hope that you all have been using the Librarian's Corner tab, and I hope you had a chance to look at some of the resources I have here, especially and this is a short presentation again about Google Drive. It just goes through some of the key points. And then for those who just want some additional assistance with citing, the Perla application, this is a short little video. The Perla application is really good. I've worked with some nursing students who bought it and who absolutely loves it because it walks you through with your citing. All right, so let's get back to the Librarian's Corner, and I'm going to come here. So this research guide has been designed to assist you with your research. So I have fixed some links because I realized I had a couple of links that weren't working, but I did go through and fix some links. So I'm going to show you some databases that I really, really like. And of course, don't forget to take a look at the APA citation centers. They have a lot of examples here that will help you with your citing. So I give you an example of what it should look like on the reference list and then what the in-text citation should look like. So let's get back here. I want to show you some database searching. So let's go to Sonal. This is the searching interface for CLS. CLS is an EBSCO-host vendor. And one of the reasons why I love CLS is because if you come here to choose databases, you can actually select multiple databases and search them simultaneously. And all you have to do is scroll over the little yellow comment box, and then the abstract will pop up and let you know what kind of data or content you can actually get from this particular database. I always recommend Academic Search Premier because this is a very comprehensive database across all disciplines. You can get some really good content in there. Of course, the null is already highlighted because that's what we select from the beginning. Don't forget the health databases. Like all of the health databases are really good because they're pretty comprehensive, of course, with health topics. And health source complete. And also, I always tell students, please don't forget about the psych article databases. You can really get some solid content from both of these, from psych articles and from psych info. They both, and even though they're both from APA, but I'm going to tell you, you can get some really good content from both of these. All right, so we have those. So I'm going to hit OK. So now I want to start my search. I'm going to do an advanced search. I always recommend the advanced search because it gives you a couple of more searching parameters. So I'm going to stick with phlebotomy injuries. Let's see if I can spell it. Hold on. L-E-B. I was hoping this pop up. Phlebotomy, and I want to do phlebotomy injuries. Did I spell it right? Okay, so I want to do phlebotomy injuries. Obviously, I did not. Okay, so I need to see how to spell phlebotomy. All right, let me find it because Jen had it in the chat box. Hold on, because I'm an awful speller. All right, let me pop up here. Let me see, where did we get it? And I'm almost there, guys. I need to spell it right so we can do, here we go. So we can do really good search. So I'm going to do phlebotomy injuries. I was spelled right. Okay. All right, so we got phlebotomy injuries, and we got 26 hits, which is odd because you would think we would get more, but let me show you how we're going to shrink that, and let me move my chat back down. Okay, thank you. All right, so I'm going to do full text. This is how we can shrink it. Look at that. It's shot down to 8. And I want to do peer review 5. Now, let's check this out. I want to do 2011 2. So this is what we got pertaining to phlebotomy injuries in CLS and the other databases. So let's say if I'm interested in this article. If you scroll over the little magnifying glass, as you see the abstract pops up, and you guys know the abstract is a shorter version of what the actual article is about. So you could just read the abstract and figure out, okay, yeah, I want this. I'm going to add this one to the folder because I think this is a really good, interesting article. What is this one about? All right, so let's see what this one is about. Let's see if does it talk about phlebotomy injuries? No, not really. All right, so I'm going to try this. Let's take injuries off of this part, and let's do phlebotomy and injuries. And let's see if we can yield more searches, because sometimes you have to play around and experiment with some of the searches. All right, so we did get a couple of more. So because I did phlebotomy and injuries, so let's see what others. Now look at number 2. Number 2 is a really good one. Protection against needle stick injuries, active or passive. And let's see, does it talk about phlebotomy, da-da-da. Okay, so I want this one too. And I'm going to scroll down. Let's see. I want to see if I can find another one. Let's try this one. And so I have a couple of articles in my folder. So I'm done with this search for this database. So what I'm going to do is come to folder. And these are all of the articles, right, that I have added to my folder because I want to email them to myself from the database. So I'm going to come to select. So I want, and you see they all were highlighted. And now I'm going to go to email. And this is the part that students absolutely love. So I would recommend that you use your WSSU email. And the reason being, if you use Gmail, Hotmail, or the other emails, you may have a problem opening the persistent link. In your WSSU email, a proxy is already built in. So when it comes to opening the persistent link, once you get the email in your get the attachment in your email, it'll open. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. So I'm going to have phlebotomy articles. All right. Always leave it rich text highlighted. And come over here to the APA citation part. And then you select APA and then hit send. So I'm going to hit send. Okay, so you will get the little confirmation. Once you hit continue, then it will move on. So after a couple of seconds, I am going to I should be getting my little email confirmation here. So a lot of times, this is what some students think that they can do. Oh, I have my email PDF, my references, and here they come here. So what you do, or what they do, and I'm going to open all of these because I'm going to put these in a page here. So what they do, they grab the references, right? And then they just put them in a Word document. And let's open this. They put it in a Word document, and then they just copy and paste in Word, and they think they're done. And of course, you're not done. All right, so let's put them in a Word document and put that there. All right, so let's go to another one. Let's grab this reference. I'm gonna grab this one, Control C. Let's put that one in the Word document. Put it here. All right, got that one. Let's do the other one. And let's see, let's go back here. Did we get the other one? I thought I had 3. All right, let me grab the other one here. Here it is. All right, I think I got that one already. What about this one? Got that one. Okay, I don't think I have this one. All right. Here it is. This is the other one. All right, so I want this one. All right, so now I have these articles, right? So let's get to my paper. So what the students do, they cut and paste, they put it in the ref, and they think they're done. One thing to remember, the vendors do a really good job of putting the citations in the right content for the formatting. However, you as the researcher, you have to double check to make sure that they are right. Now, I can tell you just looking at this, now a couple of things I like to call my core, I call them 4 core things for APA. Number 1, your text has to be 12-point Times New Roman. That's it. 12-point Times New Roman. Your paper has to be double spaced, and your references have to be double spaced. And it needs to be a 1-inch margin, top, bottom, left, right. So let's take a look at this. First of all, this is a colossal mistake because the vendors don't care about alphabetizing things. You already know that you cannot have anything capitalized in your citation unless it is an acronym. That's something totally different. So this cannot be capitalized. So you would have to clean this up. All right, so this is, I'm going to make up a name here. All right, so we're going to clean that up because you cannot have any type of capitalization here. We're going to clean that up, and then, okay, so I just created a name. Another thing, of course, it has to be alphabetized. So we're going to grab this, right, and we're going to just move this here. And we're going to grab this and move that here. Okay, so we're alphabetized. I think we're right. Yeah, alphabetized. All right, so the word reference needs to be on your page. And of course, references needs to be centered. So, can't spell. So you see how you have to clean up? You have to clean up some of the citations. Now, a couple of things I want to point out that EBSCOhost does not do, and I'm going to show you ProQuest, another database that it does. When you get to the reference list, and if you do not have a DOI at the end of your citation, and this is a DOI, the DOI stands for Digital Object Identifier. So in APA's mind, the DOI is basically your period. What this is, if you were to cut and paste this little funky number open a browser, put this in a browser, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. The article should pop up, all right? And this is the article. So the purpose of the DOI is to allow researchers the ability to get to the content a whole lot quicker. So if you have an article with a DOI, and like I said, APA's mine, this is the period, don't add a period at the end. This is it's already known that this is the period. Don't add a period because your professor may take off. Now, for these articles they don't have a DOI. So what that means, if you get them from a database, you do have to put retrieved from EBSCOhost database and the link. Okay, HTTP, and you can get the persistent link from here. Actually, let's see. So let me click on the PDF, and you can get the persistent link from here. Cut and paste that link and put this in your reference page. Okay, so this is my link, retrieved from, and this is the link. If you can get another persistent link, that's fine. But remember, if you get it from a database, or even if you get it from the journal's home page, you have to put retrieved from, list the database, and then have the persistent link. That would be the same for this one as well, because this one does not have a DOI. This one is fine because it has a DOI. So you don't need to put retrieved from, because we can just cut and paste, your professor or whomever can cut and paste that, put it in the browser and pull it up. So now that was one database. Sonal, an EBSCOhost database, for whatever reason, they just don't give that retrieve from part. But let me show you a database that does. So I'm going to close out of this. Any questions about Sonal? So this is just one of the databases. We have a good bit of databases, but this is just one. And I love Sonal. Sonal has some good content, but when you go to export it and put it in that PDF, it just does not have that. And like I said, you can go ahead and you can just add it. All right, so let me show you ProQuest, because ProQuest is a database where it does have that persistent link. And I thought I had it on here, and I don't, so I need to add it. I don't want medical library. All right, so let me make a note here. I want to add ProQuest. So hold on, let me add ProQuest, because I want to add ProQuest. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to get to ProQuest. I'm going to add it, but if there's ever a problem and you're in Blackboard and you come to the LibGuide and you can't access any of the links, let me show you another way to get to our resources. So what you would do is come to wssu.edu, and this works, let's say you're not in an article. So let me see, Jen. So if I get an article from Google Scholar, is it considered a database? Google Scholar can be considered a database, yes. So you can have retrieved from Google Scholar and then have that link. Or if you can get the link, if you get an article from Google Scholar, right? And if it links you directly to the vendor, then use that link. And Jen, let me show you what I mean by that. So let's go to Google Scholar, right? Okay, so I'm going to go to Google Scholar, and I'm going to stick with phlebotomy injuries. All right, so let's say I'm interested in this article. Right? So which is not, oh yeah, here's the article. I'm about to say, well, where's the article? So let's say I'm interested in this article. You would cite it, get your authors, and you would cite it. And what you would do, you would have retrieved from, and then have this persistent link. So let me get, so you would have this link, and you could have retrieved from in your, you would have the citation, and then you would just have retrieved from the URL and then ResearchGate, and then you would have your link. So yes, it is considered a database, but I would recommend that you pull the URL directly from the vendor and just have retrieved from ResearchGate and then add it that way. Does that make sense? I'd recommend that you do it that way. All right, so now let me show you. So let's go back to, I wanted to show you, how to get to ProQuest, because I am going to add it to your research guide. But let me show you if there's any way that you have a problem with accessing any of the databases from the guide here. I'm going to show you a backdoor way. So you would come to wssu.edu, hit quick links, scroll down to CGO Kelly Library. Once you get to CGO Kelly Library, select the link that says databases. So once you hit databases, then you should get to this alphabetical list. Once you get here, then you go to P. So, but before you actually see this aggregated list of all of the P databases we have, you will get this. And of course, once you get to your proxy, you know that you will need to, type in your username minus dadrams.wssu.edu. And then your banner ID number is your password. And once you do it that one time, then you're pretty much good to go. All right, so let's get to ProQuest. Let me see, here we go. All right, so ProQuest Nursing and Allied Health, it is number 23. So when you get here, hit the connect button. Don't hit this button, hit the connect button. So I'm going to hit connect. And then this is the searching interface for ProQuest. So I'm going to do, oh, I forgot, I did the which column first. So let's get, I told you I didn't like to type. So let's do phlebotomy injuries. Okay, I'm going to do phlebotomy injuries. I want to do full text, I want to do peer-reviewed, and I want to do scholarly journals. Remember, peer-reviewed means that it has been vetted to meet academic standards. Scholarly journals are data and research that are done by your clinicians, your nurse practitioners, and your researchers. So I'm going to hit search. Hopefully that 14,000 shrunk, and look, it shrunk to 832. That's still a lot, but we're going to shrink that again. This interface for ProQuest is just a little different. So in order to shrink it, we don't want stuff from 1970 unless you're preparing something. I'm going to scroll all the way over, and I'm going to stop about right here. So let me see, what year is that? 2010. I want to go to like 2012, 13. All right, so we got 2013 and we got 169 results because I want, I want the latest, right? So if you scroll down, it works just like the EBSCOhost database, except the interface is a little different. You hit the preview button. As you can see, the preview or the abstract will pop up. You can figure out whether or not this is something I'm interested in. So I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to add a couple of articles. I'm going to grab this one. Okay, so, and let's say I want to grab this one and I want to grab this one. So I got my articles. So this database is a little bit different than the other one that we looked at. I'm going to come up here to cite because I want to cite it. So you see how, remember I told you initially, if there is a DOI, you don't need this. This article doesn't have a DOI, so that's why it was retrieved from this ProQuest. So let's take a look at this one. The same here. This article does not have a DOI, so it has retrieved from the ProQuest database. Now, this article has a DOI. ProQuest does a really good job. There's no period at the end. So you just have your DOI and then you're done. So I'm going to cut and paste this, right? I'm going to put it in my Word document. So now I have my other article. Remember, it has to be Times New Roman. None of the databases actually export anything in Times New Roman. I don't think they like Times New Roman. This is probably Verdana, and it is. So, of course, you would have to clean this up. It needs to be, of course, Times New Roman, 12-point font. All right, and then of course it has to be alphabetized. So we're just going to grab this, going to move it about right here, and we're going to grab this, And we're going to move it up here. So this is what you would have to do to make sure that everything lines up perfectly. And I'm just going to make sure it's all black. All right, so of course, this part has to be double spaced. And I'm going to show you where you can get an example of, see an example of what it looks like in your paper, because APA, everything has to be double spaced. I'm just going to come here and just double space. So now for the most part, at least I think my things are in alphabetical order. So now my page is done. I'm happy my references are done. So ProQuest does a really good job with the retrieved from. EBSCOhost not so much, but all you have to do is add retrieve from and then your link from the page. And then if you do get it from Google Scholar, make sure you use the vendor. So now one other thing about, let's say you want to email these articles to your email. So all you have to do is come here to email. And make sure you select bibliography to ensure that you have the latest edition. I use ProQuest a lot, so that's why APA 6th edition is already highlighted, because I know that's the latest. But make sure you have the 6th edition, and you go through, you put in your email address. With ProQuest, you have to put in your name. So I'm going to put in my name. You need to put in your name. You can put in a message if you choose to. Hit continue, and then you will get those email notifications that it went to your email. So that's how ProQuest works. And I did, like I said, want to show you how a lot of students like the cite feature. I recommend that you use the cite feature. That's why the vendors have it for you. But you have to be the smart one to just go in and clean it up. Because as you so know, this is not Times New Roman and it's not 12-point font. You just have to go in and you just have to clean that up. So now I did want to show you one last database before we got to the APA stuff. And let me see, I'm hoping I have it on here. I'm going to hate myself if I don't. And I don't. I thought I added it. Another database that I think you will find, I'm going to add it, is Science Direct. And let me add that here. I'm writing this down because I don't know why I don't have it, but Science Direct is another one. All right, so let me close out of this. Let me show you how to get to Science Direct. So it's the same process. Come to databases. Now I am going to add Science Direct, and I'm going to add ProQuest to your research guide, so you won't have to go this long way. But just if you wanted to do it tonight, this is a backdoor way. So I'm going to go to S. We're going to scroll down to Science Direct. It's number 5. I'm going to hit connect. And I'm going to type in phlebotomy, of course. Let's see. God, man, I hate typing. I hate that I didn't do that. All right. I'm always trying to be lazy. Okay. Phlebotomy injuries. So you type it there. You come here to the submit quick search. And let's take a look. Now, I really do love this database. This is another one of my favorites. I mean, look at, this is an interesting one. It's about a spleen injury, which is, but it's still this is a good one. And this looks like it's a good one. So let's say, oh, now this one looks really good. Let's say we like this article. So for this database, and most of them will have the PDF. Now, here's the clincher. If you come across an article and if you can't get the PDF or if you can't get the full text and we only have the abstract, please don't buy it. Email me the APA citation or the DOI or both. Excuse me, and I'll get it for you. And if I can't get it for you, I'll let you know. Normally, oh, go ahead.
The stereotype microscope. No.
Someone had a question? Oh.
We might a couple.
So what happens if, like I said, never pay for an article. If you can't find the full text, email me the DOI or the APA citation or both, and I'll get it for you. In most instances, when you're searching this database, if you don't see the PDF attached to it, that means we don't have the full text. We only have the abstract. And remember, I showed you, if you came across, let's say you wanted this article, all you had to do was click on the PDF, come down here to the menu so you can save it, click on the save button, and go through that process and save it where you, and I made a CLS folder, and I'm going to put impact. Save it in your folder that you created, and then that way you can have that particular article on your desktop. And I'm going to click here, and here's the article. And since we saved the PDF, it should open, and it's being slow. But here is the article. So that's, like I said, for this particular database, here it is. For this particular database, they do things a little differently. Let me see if I can get back to it. And that would be a shortcut way. So remember, for Science Direct, where in the world is it? For Science Direct, they don't have the part where you can email. And I think they might be working on it. But go ahead, do a right click, and just save it to your desktop. Okay, so I showed you the 3 articles that I think would be very beneficial for you. But of course, and I will add the ProQuest and the Science Direct to your research guide. And like I said, these other, oh, I do have Science Direct here, guys. Here it is. I really thought I had it on there. So here's the Science Direct. So I don't have to add that one. It's already there. However, I will add the ProQuest Nursing and Allied Health because I think that's a really good one. So now I want you to take a look at the APA Citation Center. Remember I talked about what an APA research paper really looks like? A couple of things to remember. Of course, on the first page, you have to have the word running head, and this is your running head. And APA is very specific. They want the page number at the top right. So don't put it at the bottom left. Don't put it middle. Don't put it bottom right. They're very specific. They want the page number top right. And of course, it's 1-inch margin, top, bottom, left, right. And for those who use Word, and to double check to make sure you're using a 1-inch margin, all you have to do is come over to page layout and do your margins. Normal is the 1-inch margin, but you do want to double click just to make sure, because your professor, they have a trained eye and they can tell if it's not a 1-inch margin. I don't know how they can, but they can. So of course you have your running head on all of your subsequent pages, because here's the running head, but you don't have the word running head, you just have running head. And of course page 2 and then page 3. I just want to scroll down to the references. One thing to remember when you are writing a well-written research paper, you have to have in-text citations. And your in-text citations, they have to also be here on your reference page. And so take a look at the in-text citations. They are this reference page, they're double spaced and they're alphabetized. And remember, never juxtapose these names. Chances are the first name in the citation, these are the primary researchers. That's why their names are first. So they are the one that actually they're the primary person to get the research started. So that's why they have their names first. So never juxtapose this. Of course, you are alphabetizing by the first name in the citation. So now this paper actually has some really good examples of in-text citations. And of course, like I said, a well-written research paper is going to have in-text citations. And here are several. Here's an example of an in-text citation. Here's another example of an in-text citation. So you see you have several examples of in-text citations. I come up here. Here's another example of an in-text citation. And of course, when you see Hugh et al., chances are what has happened, this is either 3 to God knows how many authors, and this is either the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 5th time this article has been cited in this paper. So you don't list all of the authors' names for subsequent citations. You only list the last name or the first name in the citation and then et al. So now let's scroll down to take a look at Hugh et al. And see, this is what I mean. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 authors. So you have 4 authors for this, and chances are, so let's take a look here and see the first time this was cited. So I'm going to do Hugh. Okay, so it is referenced in this paper, guys, 6 times. So the first time it was referenced, you see how they listed all of their names. So you have 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? It lists all of their names. Now, the second time this paper is referenced, they're only going to have the Hugh et al. And I'm going to go to the next one, and you see here it is right here, Hugh et al. So for a little bit of clarity on that, if you come to the APA citation, right, and if you look at APA examples as journal articles, I show you an example of what it looks like when you have 1 to 2 authors, 3 to 5, 6 to 7, and 8 or more. So this is what the citation looks like if you have 8 or more authors on your reference page. This is what it looks like, right? Then, of course, since it's 8 or more, then you have your in-text citations here. So if you're looking at, let's see, 3 to 5, actually it starts at 6 to 7. When you have 6 authors or more, for the in-text citation, you only list the primary researcher, Brent et al., for all of the citations. Because APA, they don't want to read all the author's name the first time when it's 6 or more. Now, and it's the same thing that's applicable when it's 8 or more. They do not want to read all of the author's name. So let's say this article was 20 authors. So let me explain how they break it down. As you can see, what happens in your reference list, APA only wants to see 7 names, period. So if you have an article that has 20 authors, they only want to see 7. So this is how it breaks down. You list the first 6 authors of the citation, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, right? This is the first 6. Now, the 7th author is the very last name of that citation. So this is this is number 20. So you have the first 6, which is right here, and then you have your ellipses followed by number 20. Because like I said, APA, they don't want to see all the authors' names. So this kind of gives you a visual of how you cite 20 or more authors. And for your in-text citation, they don't even want to see all the authors' names in the in-text citation. They only want the primary author, which is Brent et al., and that's it. So take a look at this. I think this will help you with your in-text citations because I show you what it looks like on your reference page and then what it looks like in your in-text citations. So let me double check something else here because I want to make sure I got everything. And guys, I think I did. I think I got everything. Now, did you all have any questions, anything I could cover, anything that you thought I missed? Because if you think I got everything, then that is it. That's all I have. So I hope this was useful. Now I am going to send you all an email, and please take the time to complete. It's a very short assessment, but please take the time to complete it for me because it will give me some insight as to what we can do to make the sessions better and improvement. So I'll send you an assessment. I'll probably send that email to you tonight or tomorrow. All right, guys, so if you don't have anything, I hope this was helpful. If you get stuck with anything, shoot me an email. That's the best way to get a hold of me. All right, so that's all I have. So thank you. Absolutely, Stephanie, you are quite welcome. I know that can be confusing. Wonderful. Thank you, guys. So shoot me an email if you get stuck. Oh, I don't know. I think I got it over here. Okay, I hate that. I hate that I did that. I don't know where I put it. Okay, here it is. This is where I put it. Wonderful.